a little life story about a character who has extraordinary and phenomenal intelligence. You must be very familiar with this character, but there are still many who ignore his intelligence. Many admire his intelligence, but do not want to imitate or learn his intelligence, even though we can learn about how Sherlock Holmes thinks so intelligently. So, on this occasion, let's unravel the mystery behind this phenomenal intellect. Stay tuned, and let's start with a little story about the brilliant Sherlock Holmes. Just under 20 minutes. You can imagine this: London shrouded in fog, cobbled streets glistening with night rain, and a small room at 221B Baker Street filled with the scent of tobacco and the sound of violin strings. In the corner of the room, a tall man dressed in a long robe sat with a sharp gaze. He wasn't reading the newspaper like an ordinary person. He was scrutinizing every little detail, analyzing every stroke of ink and fold of paper. Sherlock Holmes doesn't just look at the world, he reads it like an open book. What made Sherlock Holmes so extraordinary? Is his intelligence a natural talent? Or are there certain methods we can learn from him? In truth, it's not just about solving criminal mysteries. It's about how to think, how to observe, and how to process information with such incredible speed and accuracy that it seems impossible to the average person. This story will take you into the world of Sherlock Holmes, not just as a detective, but as a brilliant thinker who can be an inspiration to anyone who wants to improve their intelligence and analytical skills. We will discuss how his mind works, from observation to conclusion, and how we can apply this way of thinking in our daily lives. More than just a crime story, this is a lesson on how to look at the world with a sharper and smarter perspective. So, how does Sherlock Holmes think so intelligently? How does he master the art of deduction so sharply and accurately? Let's take a closer look. Sherlock Holmes is not just a fictional character. He is a symbol of extraordinary analytical intelligence. He was able to solve cases by seeing what others didn't see, discerning patterns from chaos, and making seemingly impossible conclusions. But behind all that, there are methods that we can learn and apply in our daily lives. We start from deep observation. Sherlock Holmes once said something like this: "You may see it, but you don't observe it." While the meaning of those words is actually quite profound, the difference between seeing and observing is intentionality. In many of his stories, Holmes demonstrated an uncanny ability to notice the smallest details of what he saw, such as a crease in someone's clothing, a stain on a shoe, or even the way someone pressed a pen while writing. These are not just details, but clues. Actually, we can also practice this habit in our daily lives. For example, when we are traveling, try to notice the people around you. What are they wearing? How are their body gestures? Are there any patterns that you can recognize from your surroundings? Start recording your daily observations in a journal. Focus on things that you never noticed before. This is one small step towards something bigger in the future. Then, deductive versus inductive thinking. What does that mean? Holmes's method of thinking is often referred to as deduction, but actually uses induction and abductive reasoning more often. Deduction is drawing conclusions from known premises, while induction is theorizing based on observed patterns. For example, if a person comes in with wet clothes and a folded umbrella, we can infer that they were just outside when it rained. This is a form of induction, using clues to draw the most likely conclusion. You can definitely practice this. Try observing something around you and hypothesizing based on the clues. For example, if you see someone with coffee stains on their shirt, it could be that they were in a hurry to get to work. Start with simple things first. Next point, try to learn to manage your memory like a storehouse of thoughts. In A Study in Scarlet, Holmes explains to Watson that the brain is like an attic that needs to be well organized. It keeps only useful information and discards irrelevant ones. Use the memory palace technique to store important information. Connect concepts with places or objects in your imagination to make them easier to remember. Then, sharpen logic and analysis. Holmes relied not only on observation but also on strict logic. He analyzed every possibility before making a thorough conclusion. We can practice this skill by playing logic puzzles or deduction games like chess or Sudoku. And try analyzing news or events by considering various perspectives before making conclusions. Remember, all skills are important, especially when it comes to thinking. This is something we must learn. By understanding and applying Sherlock Holmes's way of thinking, we can be sharper in observing, more careful in analyzing, and faster in making the right decisions. After understanding the way and concept of thinking from Sherlock Holmes, then how can we bring this Sherlock Holmes-style thinking into real life? Of course, you don't have to be a detective to think like him. By applying the principles we have discussed earlier, we can improve our thinking acumen and effectiveness in various aspects of life. For example, you can become a better problem solver. In our work or daily lives, we are often faced with complex problems. By using deductive and inductive thinking methods, we can analyze problems from different angles and find more accurate solutions. Whenever facing a problem, ask yourself, what do I know? What evidence is there? What are the possibilities? Try solving small problems with analytical thinking, such as predicting why someone is late to a meeting based on clues. We can also improve focus and concentration. Sherlock Holmes was known for his incredible focus. He could filter out irrelevant information and only pay attention to what was important. Practice meditation or mindfulness techniques to improve your concentration so that you become someone who can easily concentrate. When working on something, create a work environment free of distractions and stay focused on the main task. Then, we can practice more critical thinking skills. In an age of information overload, critical thinking skills are essential. Sherlock Holmes never accepted information at face value. He always questioned and analyzed it carefully. Don't immediately believe the news or information you read. Always look for additional sources and consider other perspectives. You can also ask questions like why and how whenever you are confronted with a claim or argument. By applying the Sherlock Holmes mindset, we not only become smarter, but also wiser in our decision-making. Let's start this journey and develop our thinking skills in a sharper and more effective way. Everyone wants to be a good thinker, so learning the Sherlock Holmes way of thinking might make us better thinkers. There are so many positives and lessons that we can take from this story. So, like this useful video and write your experiences in the comments. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to get more positive things, which of course are discussed in a short, under 20 minutes.